You're going to be okay. Science is finally starting to understand what it is that you're wrestling with. It's something called nociplastic pain. As of about 2017, the research is finally coming out in the wash about what this is, how it works. And the good news is there's a way to control it. Um, the best way that I understand it is by thinking about it like a heartbeat. My heartbeat is very real. I can take my pulse right now. But just because it's real doesn't mean what's going on in my head doesn't influence it, right? Like my heart rate can go up if I think about stressful stuff, and especially if I mess with my breathing or hold my breath or try to hyperventilate. And conversely, I can bring my heart rate back down by thinking about different stuff and by breathing diaphragmatically. There are techniques for that. So it's very real, but there are ways to take it off of autopilot and to begin to be able to control it. You can do that with heart rate. You can do it with body temperature. It's technique and practice. And what's coming out in the wash now is nociplastic pain. The thing that you're dealing with is there's something I like to call framing work. It's a lot like breath work for controlling body temperature and heart rate, but this is for pain. It's called framing work. It revolves around understanding how you contextualize your pain. I'll give you a great example. There was an Australian neuroscientist named Lorimer Moseley who's walking through the outback one day and he brushes his leg up against a stick. No big deal. He goes swimming, he comes out, and then he goes into a coma for 4 days and almost dies. Because it turns out it wasn't a stick. It was an eastern brown snake, which is the second most venomous land snake on Earth. But it didn't hurt that much, and it was fast. So he just thought he scraped his leg. He had no idea. So the next time, a couple months later, he's walking through the outback with shorts on again, and he actually brushes up against a little stick that gives him a little scrape. But this time, it's super painful. He's writhing around on the ground, clutching his leg, and he's in a ton of pain because he, his body, his subconscious, his mind has framed that event of walking through the outback, get a little pain on the leg, that's life threatening. So his body is now giving him all this pain that he doesn't need because of how he's framed that event, because that's what happened to him before. But is it necessary now? It's really not. So all he had to do to fix that, and I don't know if he did or didn't, but the way to do it is you start to examine how you frame the event. How did you frame the initial event? How do you frame those events now? How do you frame the trajectory that you take after you feel your pain? Like, what do you do? How do you respond? What does that mean? It's the meaning that we ascribe to the pain that can modulate how much of it we're dealing with. It's fascinating. But the same way, like Buddhist monks can control their heart rate and their body temperature and stuff through these techniques of breath work and stuff, there are framing work techniques that people can use to control nociplastic pain. And it's this fascinating new frontier that's finally coming to being understood across the scientific community as of about 2017. But it's very, very fascinating. And I'm not an expert in framing work, but I'm going to get you to somebody who is.